Well, I thought it was a great atmosphere and a great college game, and give them a lot of credit for the way they came out. Man, they were really difficult to defend early, and we had some confusion on taking away 3-point shots. But as the game went on, I thought our defense really settled in, and we got great offensive players. We're growing as a team defensively. And I thought to finish the game the way we did, to start the second half, the way we finished the first half and extended the lead, and then, man, our urgency and our ability to take away who I thought was great perimeter shooting, I thought was the difference in the game. And then, their scrap was there. They beat us to a few loose balls. They got offensive rebounds that we needed to come up with that we didn't. But for the most part, man, this team really loves each other. They're competing. We're competing the right way, and we're growing and getting better. And I thought the second half was a great indication of that.
Questions for Gary and Elijah? For you guys, it seemed like a physical game. I mean, did it take some minute to kind of get used to that, or are you kind of used to that? And how did that kind of play out for you guys to finally pull away the way that you guys did?
Our coaches do a good job preparing us in practice. We do a lot of physical things in practice, and I just give props to our coaches for preparing us for this event. So yeah.
Yeah, we've been working hard on being more physical on and off the ball, and then rebounding and stuff, especially since the last game. So yeah, I think we did a good job of that tonight, for the most part.
Elijah, your coach kind of mentioned this, but I mean, how big of a focus was there to kind of take away, especially the Madsen brothers? I don't think Mason had anything tonight. Gabe had 4. How big of a focus was that coming into the game?
That was a huge focus. We know if we take them out the game, then it's gonna be hard for them to score. So we made an emphasis to, try to make them take as least shots as possible and as least touches as possible. So yeah.
Coach, what do you feel?
Any more for?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just for you guys, Utah goes and gets that 1-point lead. You guys then go off on that 8-0 run. Seemed to be kind of instrumental in turning the tide. Was there anything different in that timeout that kind of rallied around, or kind of how did you guys kind of pull away right there?
I think just playing harder, executing the game plan that the coaches put together for us, and guarding and rebounding.
All right, thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, D5.
Coach, how would you describe the mentality you need to compete in the Big 12 in terms of just the team and that sort of mentality?
Yeah, man, to be honest, we played one of the worst defensive games we've played maybe since I've been coaching in Division I to open conference play. And they're obviously a good offensive team, especially if they can get you in space, talking about UCF. And then to start the game the way we did, and they were shooting 75%, I think, through 10 minutes maybe. And you're right, the physicality that they play with, the way they screen, the way they rake help, how physical they are guarding in the paint. They really were ready, you could tell. But in this league, you gotta love just the constant fight of it. It is true. I mean, you got to enjoy it. You can't look at this as like very difficult, and you got to actually love the difficulty if you were going to have success in this league. And that's what I did see with this team. And I thought Federico was a big part of that coming in the game. He came in and gave us a huge lift offensively, and I thought his presence defensively really caused some problems in space, and he was able to rebound and put pressure on the rim when they were taking away 3-point shots, in that stretch. And then JT to get foul trouble and come back in and help us make that run. We're always going to be anchored with Darian Williams, but Elijah Hawkins being in here, I thought his tone setting and the way he was moving and the way he made shots early just really gave us a lift. It was fun to see our team really play for each other with 6 guys in double figures to start the game we did, making as many shots, but really to finish it defensively and to score down the stretch, I thought said a lot about our team's enjoyment of it being difficult, and Utah did make it difficult on us.
Coach, at North Texas, your teams usually played at pretty slow, deliberate pace. You've picked it up a little bit the past 2 years. I'm wondering, from your philosophy, is controlling the tempo something that you're intentional about going into the game, or is it just sort of go with the flow?
Well, I will say we've got more depth, and we have more guys at different positions that I feel like put pressure on teams offensively. And if you don't get into actions quickly in the Big 12, you can't take advantage of that. And so I think really more than anything is about putting pressure on people constantly. And the way we used to put pressure on people was make them guard us longer and maybe come down and move. This, you put pressure on people because you got 6 guys that can go in double figures, and KO probably would have been 7 if we'd have played in more minutes. And then Kerwin Walton, one of the best shooters in the world, played 10 minutes, and he got off the snide today and made a couple free throws. And I thought his physical defense at the rim. So I just love this team because we got a lot of depth in different areas. And the real big push for us is how do we create more physicality and make the possessions harder defensively, and that's what we're learning.
In that first half specifically, Utah's defense did well to keep you late in the shot clock early on. But even then, you were able to, drain three-pointers, or you got some couple alley-oops, different things that way. How pivotal is that even when a team is locking you up for most of that clock, that you're still able to do what you were able to do?
Well, it was the last thing we showed our team in before pregame meal today on film was how do we guard them when we get to 5 seconds, 8 seconds under the shot clock, and then how do we have composure and get the shots that we want when we get under the clock. And I thought Darian Williams was really pivotal in that. I mean, he kind of got down there and just played with poise and let the game come to him and let it develop, and then Fede's rim presence really makes a difference. I mean, because think about with all the guys that we have that can shoot, and we had, several guys that made threes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we got guys that can make them that didn't make them, Darian Williams being one of them. But I think at the end of the clock, if you can keep pressure on people with the rim like Fede and JT can, then I honestly don't know how you defend us at the end of the clock.
What was kind of the message that you gave to your guys, especially defensively, when you're looking at the three-point shooters for Utah? I mean, obviously the Madsen brothers come in as their two leading three-point guys. They finished a combined 0 for 6 today.
Yeah, we'll give Chance McMillan credit. I mean, Chance has been one of those guys who's been great for us offensively, but he played 35 minutes, and then he comes to us probably with 6 minutes or 8 minutes to go and is like, Coach, can you sub me out? It's the first time I've ever heard him ask for a sub. But, I mean, that just shows you the energy that it takes. And we made it clear to our team that we felt like this was going to be an endurance race. Like, honestly, who can stay the course with the energy and physicality over the course of the entire game, but over the course of possessions offensively and defensively. I think our team took that to heart. Kevin Overton was a big part of that too. Christian Anderson, Elijah Hawkins, I mean, that guard group, the way they were flying around, and we were able to play so many guys to stay connected. And then we made guys that probably weren't their leading scorers be leading scorers in a game that I thought that was pivotal. I mean, when you got, Wallen and Dawes and Keller as their leading scorers, I mean, it kind of, we wanted to make those guys see if they could beat us with twos around the basket, and we were pretty consistent in the game plan.
Thank you guys, appreciate you.
Thank y'all.